Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tokenicer and I'm here to bring you guys in-depth analysis, news, and insights on the digital asset space, along with covering the progressive tokenization of the world. So in today's episode, we're going to be taking a step back from the whole infrastructure and deep utility networks of this space, but we'll still be covering utility, just in a different form. We're going to be going over the play-to-earn blockchain gaming industry. So mainly we'll be covering projects like Ultra, MetaHero, and Merit Circle. So besides big data and finance, this blockchain and distributed ledger industry is going to disrupt a whole bunch of other sectors in our economy. And the gaming industry is just one of them. It's one of the largest growing industries in the world, not just in terms of revenue, but also in terms of adoption and usage. Just think of video games 5 to 10 years ago. So much has changed since then, beyond just graphics and what kind of games are out there, but the sheer volume of gamers now. This just becomes even more apparent when you see the fact there's like colleges offering scholarships to join their school to play for their gaming team, or the large amounts of professional esports tournaments from games like League of Legends to Overwatch to Fortnite. The aggregate gaming community has seen growth and adoption like never before. And it's only going to continue to grow as time goes on, because at this point, any of the future generations will have parents that grew up around video games and playing it all through their childhood. And as we know, much of the gaming industry is currently being revolutionized by the whole concept of NFTs. So today, I'm going to talk about 3 crypto projects in the space that are working within this industry and trying to build the new infrastructure. But before we get started, I just got to go over the usual. I'm not a financial advisor, and therefore nothing you ever hear or read from me should ever be taken as financial advice. But now that we got that out of the way, let's hop right into it. Alright, so the 3 crypto gaming related projects we'll be covering today are Ultra, which is pretty much a social network and platform dedicated to gaming by building it so that it benefits everyone within that whole gaming ecosystem. Then Merit Circle, which is really trying to bring the play-to-earn gaming concept to mass adoption and really bringing back some of the revenue from this industry back to the community. And MetaHero, which is preparing for the new age of gaming and the metaverse by allowing you to literally transform yourself into the gaming world. So there's a ton of gaming related projects out there, and many of them are heavily speculative, obviously, since this concept is still rather new and lots of projects are trying to build upon all the hype of this. And a lot of them will potentially just wither away once all that hype begins to die off. And this isn't to say that these are the only good gaming projects out there, just the ones I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm a big supporter of some other ones like Gala, Engine, and Star Atlas. Obviously, we don't know which ones will survive for sure, but I chose these as they're personally some of my favorites just due to their concepts and vision that these projects are building out. These 3 projects all have the idea of creating a gamer's economy where everyone has the ability to provide something of value to the community and be rewarded doing so. I mean, who wouldn't want to be rewarded with something of value for playing their favorite game? But on top of this, they're also changing the gaming industry in the sense that they're building platforms that are dedicated to this growing sector of gaming to all connect together. So Merit Circle, it's a DAO that's working to build a platform to support the metaverse and this whole play-to-earn concept through investments in play-to-earn projects developing in this space. They're going to be offering things such as scholarships and other educational opportunities for people to better understand the disruption that's happening in the gaming industry. So Merit Circle has a heavy focus on investing, gaming, and the crypto space. And they're combining all these aspects together in their DAO to create an ecosystem where just by contributing and participating in it, you're rewarded in every aspect of success from their ecosystem. Now, the setup of their DAO is actually pretty unique since there's going to be so much progression in the gaming ecosystem. There's going to be a bunch of what they call sub-DAOs, where each sub-DAO is responsible for governing and representing each game that they've invested in their ecosystem. But then there's the main DAO, which will govern over all of these other smaller sub-DAOs. So from distributing a majority of the rewards from the gaming and metaverse projects they've invested back to the community through funding developers and letting out NFTs on their DAO, Merit Circle is really working on building the community aspects of this industry and really connecting gamers together by making it so that anyone in their community will have access to all of these features. From governance and voting rights to the DAO, exclusive awards to Merit Circle's native NFTs, and just overall being incentivized to participate in the growth of Merit Circle. Now let's take a quick look at MetaHero now. This project is really unique in the sense that they don't quite exactly fit perfectly within any one specific niche. Their vision is basically to create an ecosystem where anyone will be able to scan themselves or whatever object they want into the metaverse. Think of this as like a magic portal between the physical world and the virtual one. And they plan to do this through their meta scanners that they'll be placing all around the world. This idea might sound a little gimmicky at first, but looking at their team, they've got Rob Grin as the founder and CEO. This guy is the youngest self-made entrepreneur to have made it on the Forbes 100 rich list. So that should be a sign that these guys aren't fucking around with this vision and are really working to build this out. So aside from the obvious concept of this mission of MetaHero, what makes it so unique is the fact that this is really going into the new age of the digital world. Essentially, if MetaHero truly succeeds the way they envision it, these metascanners will be like gateways into the metaverse beyond just into gaming. So the community aspects of MetaHero really makes their approach to disrupting the gaming industry really unique. Since these are physical scanners placed out in the real world, this will be one of the few tangible products in this industry, and it's really things like this that will help accelerate mass adoption. Most people do already understand the concept of crypto and these networks to some extent, but they don't really understand how it works. These real tangible products will help people get a better grasp at understanding what this technology can provide for us. But on top of that, having a bunch of people gathered lining up to have their turn at the Metascanner will bring real connections and a community base of similar interests together. Think like a concert, for example. There's a bunch of people gathered around with a similar interest. This really isn't any different. Now, beyond just metascanners, after scanning whatever you're looking to scan, they'll pretty much be NFTs that you can integrate into any virtual world supported on their platform. So they'll make it to where you can monetize whatever you've scanned onto their 3D NFT marketplace. So players are incentivized to scan and share whatever to continue growing this ecosystem with new in-game items. This really opens the doors to, say, maybe someone who's been a longtime collector of cool replica gaming items. They can then scan all of these and pretty much be a marketplace for cool in-game items. It's no different from buying skins in a video game, really, except now it's completely self-sustaining through the community. So while we're talking about 3D marketplaces, this also opens the opportunity to 3D NFT art being displayed in the metaverse. While that's something that's going to be more down the line, really take a moment to imagine 3D NFT art galleries. We could potentially see some really cool displays of art that we'd never even imagined to be possible. And now let's talk a little bit about Ultra before we tie this all in together. So Ultra is like what I'd consider the combination of Steam, Facebook, and Twitch all combined together to make a social platform literally built for gaming. From hosting a bunch of games on their platform, just like Steam, to directly connecting and interacting with their favorite gaming influencers on like Twitch, to making new friends and finding people of similar interests in games to connect with like Facebook. Since they're really dedicating this platform to gamers, they're even making it so that anyone can literally create their own game and in-game items and monetize it on their platform through their toolkit. This really brings a whole new world of opportunities into the gaming ecosystem by allowing anyone to create out their own imaginations. So as we were talking about earlier, this industry of gaming is really seeing exponential growth and will likely continue to do so for the rest of our lives. Ultra is really looking to capitalize on that opportunity. There's already about 3.6 billion gamers around the world. That's about half the population, and it'll only continue to grow with new generations being born. They're making this virtual platform so it's pretty much a one-stop shop to access everything in the gaming industry. So whether you're trying to play some games, watch your favorite streamer, make new friends, or even wanting to get creative and create your own game, well, Ultra's your home for all that. So now that I've summarized and described these projects, let's really tie them all together and see how the future of the gaming industry could look like based on these three. So we've got the Gaming Central Ultra for people to access their huge library of games on, from first-person shooters to MOBAs all the way to even sports games. And of course, in this next generation of gaming, all the players are going to be rewarded and incentivized for however they can benefit the economy as a whole, whether it be bringing in new players, finding rare items, or whatever. And then we've got Merit Circle, the DAO that's going to help fund and start up all these projects through investments, and their sub-DAOs for all the play-to-earn gaming ecosystems. And of course, you got to be rocking your best fit in the game, and maybe even make some money off those Jordans you got sitting in the closet. And where else would you do that besides MetaHero scanners? So while none of these projects are officially partnered or connected in any way that I know of, at least, hopefully I can kind of paint a picture as to how an ecosystem interconnected of this would work in a sense. So let's say 5 years down the road, you hop onto Ultra, check what's up, and you see that everyone's talking about a new game that's about to release on their platform. Say it's like an MMORPG, and you basically hunt for treasure and loot people for their items that would be NFTs and tokens of that game's ecosystem. And you just keep fighting monsters and other people till you hit max level. Maybe you can see the whole lucrative potential of this game just by envisioning the sheer volume of value that'd be transferred in a game like that, where you're basically hunting for rare NFTs and maybe hidden tokens. So you decide, hey, I want to invest in this ecosystem because there's going to be a lot of value that flows through it, and it sounds like a solid game overall. Well, you could do that through Merit Circle and even vote on some of the decisions in their sub-DAOs. And in return, you'd get all kinds of rewards while even getting to access and borrow NFTs from their DAO's treasury. But since it's such a cool game, you're definitely going to want to play and participate in that ecosystem beyond just investing in it, right? Maybe you want to play as yourself, or you want to just be rocking your best fit in the game. Well, again, where else would you do that besides with MetaHero scanners? And this was literally just a random scenario I made up. The possibilities of the play-to-earn gaming world combined with NFTs really make it for a world of endless possibilities in this subsector. In the best case scenario, the disruption that could potentially happen in this gaming industry could make thousands, if not millions, of young entrepreneurs, or at the very least, bring a little value back into the community's wallets. Since now you'll actually be rewarded something of value relative to that gaming ecosystem and something that's got utility across the whole gaming industry that I hope will be interoperable by then. And you don't even got to be a game developer or super good at the game to do so. You can simply monetize some of your items you own in real life to be used in games, or just share and bring in new users to that ecosystem. And of course, now there's the option to literally invest in a gaming ecosystem and getting special access to certain features of the game doing so. And while a lot of people are arguing that these gaming giants like Steam won't be letting shit like this happen since they're greedy and want the profits all to themselves, we got to keep in mind that if these platforms are being built, why wouldn't gamers want to join an ecosystem that rewards them for their good deeds towards it? Why let the firms keep all the funds when there's a better alternative like this? Unity and Epic Games, two huge gaming companies, are already supporting and working to adopt this whole new concept of play-to-earn gaming. Because if not, they're eventually going to be no different from what happened to blockbusters from when Netflix disrupted them. People are going to leave the old and outdated for the new and upgraded. That's just how innovation works. And while there's no official way to exactly gauge the difference in revenue between both these models, on paper it might sound like these firms would have their profits heavily cut. But again, just think about the sheer rise in volume of transactions that would occur on these platforms, since there's such an easy way for in-game microtransactions now. Whether it be selling things like in-game items or skins, or maybe even earning royalties on a game you developed, or joining exclusive gaming rooms, whatever. And then they just add a little platform fee to it. And honestly, I think revenue-wise, there really won't be too much of a negative shift. And if anything, this would increase the potential for revenue growth, since as the games on the platform continue to grow in users, there's going to be more and more transactions happening on there, basically non-stop, and pretty much be a constant transfer of value through an immutable ledger. These types of innovative ideas are honestly just going to help the growth of this gaming ecosystem more and more, since now basically anyone with anything of value to offer into this ecosystem, whether you're a developer with a wild imagination, or maybe you've just always wanted to start streaming, or maybe you're just good at video games. These platforms are bringing value back to the community, and in return, it'll bring even more overall value into this gaming industry. Honestly, I'm super excited to see what's in store for this sector as blockchain and tokenization really begins to leak into here. It just blends in so perfectly. Like, you can easily trade whatever it may be in a video game now through a trustless system. This could potentially have the same amount of volume as, say, like the global trade industry, with how much activity is going to be going on here. Because basically all online games are operating 24/7, and there's always at least two people out there looking to swap between something. 25 years ago, the concept of making money from playing video games would have been a complete joke. But over the past decade or so, we've really seen that slowly become more and more of a reality. From full-time Twitch streamers to professional competitive gamers, they're all providing value through the demand for the mass entertainment. It completely changes the narrative of gaming just to pass time now. Like, sure, there's definitely going to be a handful of people who still want to play games and just don't really care about the money. But since it'll all be handled through smart contracts or state channels, it really won't matter since you'll hardly be able to tell anyways. It'll be no different than like interacting with in-game currencies, only they have real value now. So maybe let's say you get bored of this one game that you spent hundreds of hours grinding on to level up and unlock items. You can now easily sell all the items from all your hard spent hours for real world value of it relative to the game's ecosystem. But also, once all these games are interoperable, you'll be able to migrate stuff easily from one game over into the next. Maybe through 3 lines of code or something, who knows? While it was probably something that just sort of happened in the background at the time with the disruption of our legacy world of gaming, looking back, we're all like, holy shit. It really just took the world by storm. One moment it was seen as an unproductive hobby, then boom, a few years later, there's professional gaming stages and streamers making more in a year than a lot of families do in a decade. We really didn't notice the value and growth from it since, well, unless you were a shareholder or part of the company, you really didn't get any value back in return. Chances are you just got edgy 12-year-olds in your lobby room screaming. With this new age of gaming, everyone is rewarded in the ecosystem for whatever they can bring in. You're incentivized to grow the ecosystem, whether it's through bringing in new players, finding new items, lending and monetizing your items, or whatever. With Merit Circle basically redistributing all the rewards and the value from these gaming ecosystems they're investing in and providing a real community dedicated to the gaming ecosystem through lending in-game NFTs. Then with Ultra's network for gaming literally incentivizing people for getting good at the games on their platform or even building out their own and just expanding that ecosystem overall as a community. And of course, there's MetaHero with their 3D NFT marketplace, literally creating a new world of possibilities within the virtual world. And the in-game microtransaction experience, connecting the real physical world that much closer with the virtual. Now, everything we've mentioned is still likely a couple years away from coming into fruition at the very least. A lot of these blockchain play-to-earn games are still pretty poorly developed and kind of seem more as a game created as an excuse to implement play-to-earn mechanisms rather than actually being a good game people enjoy playing and just happen to be something to earn rewards with value in. Of course, this will probably change in the coming years as more developers begin seeing what's happening in this space, and once a game that's good and sustainable is built, it's likely then we'll really see things start to take off. But yeah, that's kind of a little summary of how crypto is leaking into the gaming industry and some of the things we could potentially see in the coming years as these two industries continue to blend further and further together. So if you guys liked what you saw today, remember to hit that like and subscribe and turn that ringer on so you don't miss a thing. And remember to check me out on some of my other content platforms. You guys can always reach out or stay up to date with me on my Telegram, Twitter, and Instagram. Or if you guys want more fundamental analysis content, check me out on my Medium for some articles. All this can be found at Tokenicer. And for those of you guys who don't want to read, I got you guys with the Spotify podcast right here at Tokenized TV. But yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. Hope everyone got something good out of it, whatever it may be. So until next time, guys, stay safe and keep grinding. Peace.